Alrighty, fellow collectors and gamers, welcome into the Collector's Domain. And in this video, I want to talk about. I want to teach you guys how to play Magic. For some of you guys out there, it is something that some of you I know have been watching and totally unsure how to play it. And there's so many ways to learn it and play it. But I'm going to show you an example digitally and teach you guys the basics of the cards and how to play them. And then I'll go ahead and I will run a match on Magic Arena for you guys to watch me play it, and I will explain my way through while you guys watch me play it. So let's just get into it. So, first things first, let's go over some cards. Now, these are my commander decks I built. I have had them built for a while now. So everything in these decks is closely similar to my real life decks, minus the mana that is used inside of them. Now, mana is a word I will explain when we get into these, but as you can see, I have one called Dark Noir, which is a mono black, mono green, which is a mono green, and red and white, which is a white and red deck. Technically, that I'm pretty much named them around the colors. But I guess the best one to get into is Dark Noir. Now, Dark Noir is based around commanders in general. Okay, so let's go back. Let's go back to my decks. All right, so each of these, if you can see right here, has 100 cards, 100 cards, and 100 cards. Now, there are different formats and standards to play. My favorite one is Standard, which is a 40 to 60 card deck. Pretty much it's easier to play than Commander because you can use copies of cards within that deck. Now, with Commander, you can't do that. And then there's Draft, which is pretty much a 40 card deck, and you open up packs at a table, and this is for people who are playing at shops. You send the pack after you pull one card out of the pack to the next person beside you, and they pull a card out, and it goes around in a big circle like that until you have a mini deck built. And then you can go and you can select your mana from the bulk the shop has. Draft is for shops and people that literally, I want to say, they want to do the event themselves. So as long as you have some bulk and you have your friends, y'all can pitch in and buy a draft deck box and do drafting. And then there's the jump starter booster packs, which are the again, I believe it's 40, but it's two mini decks that are created of the same color, built to face each other on the spot. So when you open those up, you can play against them. So there's different formats of it that you can play, but my favorite is Standard. And then you know the professional level, the competitions and stuff like that. Those are pretty much, I want to say, on the level of I haven't really been to a competition, but I've known people, and I'm gonna say they all stick to the same season. So they do it by seasons. I don't know if they do run outdated cards, but I know they pretty much run it like a draft, I want to say, where you have to have all up-to-date cards in your deck. So, with that said, let's get into the cards themselves. So, Dark Noir is based around Black Widow Super Spy. Now, if I click Black Widow Super Spy over here on the right, her mana count is a colorless and a swamp. So colorless doesn't naturally doesn't naturally show up in mana when you open packs. So example, this right here is a colorless. They don't really do anything with it too often. Now there was one point where I did see colorless ran as a natural mana color for a little while in one of the sets years and years ago. I forget which one it was, but I do remember that being a set, and they used all artifact creatures and artifacts for that set. Well, certain mana casting cards. So, if that makes sense. Now, we go back. Let's talk more about the card here. So, a legendary creature is what you want to look for when you build a commander. When you pick one single commander, you want to make sure they're a legendary creature. So, like, she's a legendary creature, but she's a mythic rare. Okay, so, and I'll go over rarity of cards in a bit. And this guy here, he's a legendary creature, but he's a uncommon. So, you can basically figure out what card is stronger by that sense. Now, mythics are usually very, very powerful cards. They have a few things on them that come into play when you do play them. Like her, Menace. She has Menace is where you can't be blocked unless you have two creatures. Okay, so like example, this is another part of the card that you want to pay attention to when you play these. Okay, she has 2 power. Okay, but if she gets hit by one single person, she goes down originally. But because this is played differently, she can't be blocked by just one person. She has to be blocked by 2 people. So like example, you can use this card right here, which is a 1/2, and this card right here, which is a 1/1, to take her down. Now, another example, you can use this one right here, which is a 2/2. Now, the fact her power and defense is a 1, you still won't be able to take her down because of this play. That spell right there off of her card. And when you run that spell, she has to be blocked by 2, so you can block her by a 2/2. Even going higher, she can be blocked by a 3/3 and then a 1, and she would die. But if you can't block her with both of them, well then it goes if she deflects one of the blockers or you deflect one of the blockers from attacking her, then that creature dies or gets to prevent damage, and then she only gets attacked by one creature, which then the creature dies, but she still stays alive. That's how Menace works. And another example to this card is her other spell. Whenever Black Widow deals combat damage to a player, that player exiles cards from the top of their library. Until they exile a non-land card, you may put a 1/1 counter on Black Widow. If you do not, you may, get out of my way, cast the exiled non-land card until end of turn, and mana of any type can be spent to cast a spell. So, so in this play here, when she attacks, no matter what, the person you're attacking has to discard cards from their library, which is your deck, and then turn around and exile them until you reach a enchantment, instant, creature, legendary creature, stuff like that. So it just goes to show you how this card works. And then if you do not, once they stop and they have that card, you get the choice of playing that card, but you have to cast it with your mana, which let's just say, like let's just say you draw this on your end. Okay, there's 2 here, so you'd be coming to your land and using this and this, or this and this, and that's how you would cast that. Now I'll show you more about how casting works when it comes down to playing this game during one of the matches I have coming up. In fact, I don't have Black Widow Super Spy in any of my decks on the Magic the Gathering Arena, but I do have pretty good decks in there. So I'll talk about them with you as I go through. But this is just an example of how things work. Um, but this is and going down here again, this is your attack power. This is your defense. So your attack power is the thing that hits the other people. Sort of like, I guess Yu-Gi-Oh is an example of that. Yu-Gi-Oh has a certain amount of defense and a certain amount of attack. Once you break that defense, the creature's destroyed. Creatures are built for blocking your life, if that makes sense. So that's why, like with Yu-Gi-Oh, you block with the creature. You don't block with, you block with the creature, you block with an enchantment, you block with spells, vice versa. Very similar to Yu-Gi-Oh. So now one more thing I want to talk about, and then we'll go over to play the Magic the Gathering. Actually, two more things. So you got your common, uncommon, rare, and mythic rare. And you will see these on the card. So like right here, this guy is an uncommon. Now when you purchase the cards, you have it on the card itself. Like right there where my pointer is, that's a common. This is an uncommon. And this right here is a promo. And they have that certain star logo, shooting star logo, with gold. Now that is a rare promo. I actually do have this in my deck. I got it the other night when I went to the pre-release. But this is an example of how Magic the Gathering works, all in all. And I'll take you into one more deck. I'm not going to explain the mechanics of it too much. But red and white, okay, red and white is a bit different for the build, but it is pretty much the same. You just format it with the two colors. Okay, so this creature right here is my creature. And she's actually a 3/3, but her cast is three different mana cards. So, like example, if I wanted to cast her, I could choose a mountain, which is a fire card, and then a um a plains, which is white, and then I would use one of these two colors, or I would use the colorless color if I had it in my deck. And that's just how that works. So you base it around what the color of the legendary creatures. Again, she's a legendary creature. Um, so watch when you're building commanders because you got legendary planeswalkers, which are a bit different, but he's a mythic. They're built differently. The plays are done differently, but you cast them the same exact way as you would a normal card. Now, so you're looking at my mana set for this, which are 51 lands. Now, these are mountains and these are plains, and they match the color scheme of the deck itself in the commander. That is why I put that is why I like the way she's ran. Um, and that's pretty much why I went and I made. What is going on here? Why can't I? I like the way her her spells are. Why can't I view her again? Oh, so I gotta click on him. Okay, I don't want to add anything in. That's the thing. Anyway, I like her spell. I wish I could view it right now, but the app is acting really strange. I don't know why, but it just genuinely is. There we go. Okay, so for her attacks are pretty cool. Whenever you attack, put a 1/1 counter on a target attacking creature. So you can put it on anybody in your arsenal. Let's just say you have a really low powered creature. Um, you have like this guy right here. You put a 1/1 on there, that's gonna make him a 1/3, and then he'll use whatever's on his card. Um, Whenever a modified creature you control deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Equip auras, equipment auras, you control encounters or modifications. Okay, so uh, anytime any anytime you attack with the modified creature, let's just say you put an enchantment on him, well, equipment. So basically, some sort of enchantment that's going to give him equipment. You can go ahead and anytime he attacks, the person will have to exile the top card of their library. That is how that's rad. But this is a pretty cool card, and it goes outside of like you can make other people in your deck stronger. Like let's just say right here you want to make this dragon stronger, and she's on the field. You can add that counter onto her. Now, I want to get into actually how the game is ran to show you guys an example of it. So, let me pull up Magic Arena, and I'll be back, and I'll have a match ready to go for you guys. Alrighty, so yeah, I'm about to play a match against a computer here. But this is my hand right now. So you always want to make sure you have at least some form of mana in it, regardless of what your hand is. And then you can look through other stuff and see if you're ready to go. Now, I'm gonna say keep. Okay, so this is how the match goes. Before you place the card onto the field, you draw. Okay, and then when you go, you're going to put the first mana up. Okay, so unless you have a card that costs no mana, you're going to put mana on the field regardless. It's always good to keep mana on the field because in case you don't, in case you have a card later on and you have that mana, it's good to have it out ahead of time. So I'm going to place this. Okay, so what that says, at the beginning of your combat turn, if you control 3 or more creatures, this creature gets a +1/+1 until end of turn, and you gain 1 life. Okay, so I didn't have anything on the field, so I don't gain anything out of that, unfortunately. So, let's put another land card up here, and at this point, I can actually put one of these out. So, this card this card has flying, vigilance. Now vigilance, it don't tap at all. When you attack it doesn't tap. Each other so if I have more than one angel with an addition if okay, hold on. Each angel you control enters with an additional, so if you have more than one angel out there, it adds a counter onto it, which makes the angel stronger. And then you can tap to add mana to your mana pool of the planes. So, and as you can see, that's a rare card. So right now, I don't have anything to really do, so I'm just going to attack. And to attack, you need to tap. All right, and as you can see, as stuff is coming out, it's tapped. So these are tapped to bring this out. So, okay, so watch. Here's an example. Always when you bring something out, go over here, put it down, and I can't bring that out. Okay. Joust through deals 3 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. You gain 1 life. So when this guy, if he chooses to attack and I hit him with this, I'm going to gain 1 life off of him. But right now, nothing's going on. I can't add this one in because if I did, it asks me if I'm going to add a copy of this legendary creature, and I can't. So I'm just going to hit next, and I'm going to attack them all. Now, when they attack, they tap as always, and let's see if they block one, except for my vigilance creature. Now, flying is a spell that literally works in a way where unless they have reach or flying, they cannot block you. So angels fly over top of everything. That's why I chose angels. All right. So now he tapped and he put that 4/4 down. And Now, I drawed that. I don't have anything to use that. So I'm just going to put another mana up. I would hope I have something. Yeah. And as you play this game, it does teach you how to play it yourself. All right, so we're gonna use this as soon as I go to block. Well, if I were to block, but we're not gonna use it right now. And that's when an instant comes into play. You can use an instant anytime during any turn as long as you have the mana set up. So we'll just go and attack again. So now I'm probably gonna get my butt whooped this round because that's just how. I, I can't. No, I can't. I can't do that. Cancel that. So that's going to block my damage, and I'm going to gain a life off of that, which I don't want. You don't want to wipe any of your creatures off the field unless there's a field wipe, and then that's when that's when you're in the good because you're wiping everything off the field, and you won't even have any attackers on the field then. But they're building their deck up, their field up pretty powerful right now. So let's play this against this, and then we're gonna turn around and it's gonna die off. My angel is gonna die off, unfortunately. I got another one in there, which is great, but I'm not getting any cards right now, which is incredibly annoying. I can't even attack right now. So sometimes it's best to play on the defense when it comes down to it, but I can actually block, but I'm not going to that time because I'm not even getting hit. What is this mana draw? There is green in there, but why am I drawing like white? Nothing but white. I'm waiting for a big card to come if that's the case. Yeah, he's gonna hit me something hard here. Watch. And anything I block right now, I'm kind of like screwed. I'm just gonna take this hit, see what happens. Yeah, I'm screwed because I have no other colors coming out. This deck usually destroys this bot, but I have nothing coming out that's gonna help me right now. So, man, either way, I'm gonna get like I'll just play it till the end, show you guys. So attack, and now watch. He's just gonna come at me with everything and clear me out. And this is a computer I'm playing against, so it sucks to have you watch me lose, but that's just how it goes sometimes. You win some, you lose some. Nobody ever wins them all, especially in these games. Yep. Damn. Well, anyway, there you go. There's a match for you. That sucks. But I got defeated. But that was an example of how you play. I sort of wish I could have like held off, but yeah, if you're willing to learn, this is probably your best app to learn from, and this is probably the best way. Um, but yeah, let's get back to the other screen. All right, I hope I inspired you guys a little bit to get out there and go to your local game shops. Everything being digital these days, it kind of like defeats the purpose of everything. I know that's going off topic, but I do have a certain feeling about that. I don't like the fact that everything tries to go digital. It defeats the purpose of being a human being, but that's another topic for a different channel and different day. But yeah, I hope I inspired you guys to get into collecting, to getting into learning your cards, to getting into understanding the game and how the game is played and how the game can be a lot of fun if you play it right. I even if I lose, I still manage to have fun with the people I'm playing with because it is supposed to be a casual game. I can play on a serious level if I really wanted to, but I don't. I've seen too many people take some things way too serious that weren't supposed to be taken serious, and it consumed them. So don't let seriousness consume you. Enjoy the game, enjoy the surrounding, and enjoy the vibes the community has provided they're not toxic. But yeah, I suggest getting out there. There's some places that will help you learn the game for free without having a deck, and then there's places that will outright give you a welcome deck, and and then they have decks pre-built. But it depends on what you want to do. Commander is I wouldn't say Commander's the best way to learn the game. I wouldn't say Standard. A lot of the new people should be learning Standard instead of Commander. Commander's a step above, and then drafting is next for after Commander, I want to say, because is I want to say Commander is a casual level game, so is Standard, but everybody likes Commander now. Um, Standard back then was really, really fun to play and quick, and that's why, that's what brought me into the game. And then people were talking about Commander. I was like, oh, what's Commander? Never really explained it. No, nobody ever really explained it to me, but that was something I was like, I'm gonna take the time out to learn it and see what I think of it. I enjoy it. Um, but all around, I hope I inspired you to do some collecting, get into playing the game, and just enjoying the vibe of the game and enjoying the cards themselves. And like I said, don't get too serious with it. Enjoy it. Always enjoy what you're doing. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, um, and I guess take it easy and keep on collecting, fellow gamers and fellow collectors. Take it easy. And God bless.